which may not necessarily be a counter pick. It might just be, let's give him a matchup that he's not going to struggle in against the gentleman that you saw in pretty high spirits.
Oh, yeah.
As Rich also having a little bit of a smile as we hop into this draft. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one's going to go. Actually, I just don't know. Like, often I have a feeling in my waters as to how a match is going to go, and earlier in the day, I was feeling like it was going to be Gen G favored. But I feel like my waters have changed since the last match because I also thought T1 were going to win.
Yeah.
So now I'm just doubting everything.
It's too much waters.
Yeah, I know. My waters, I normally just trust in them, but this time around, it just doesn't really work out.
I've also started to rely on yours because I used to rely on my own, and that hasn't always served me as well. As a lot of comfort getting taken away. Of course, the Ephedios for Dokdam is basically a must. And hey, Rascal.
I mean, this is Rascal's favorite champion that has been permabanned against him. I mean, I want to go back and have a look to see whether he's even been able to play it this season. Yes, he has played it 4 times. Well, let's check out the win rate. Sitting at 75%. I'd say that's decent.
Yes.
As Peanut's going to go back to a favorite here in the Diana. The Varus also locked in. Ruler is going to take his Ezreal into it. And if Ruler's ever going to prove anything, it's going to be on this pick, as Life is going to take his 80% win rate Leona into Nongshim here as well. This is a great start to the draft for Gen G, in my humble opinion.
And while it's not likely, BDD, not the Renekton player that some of our other mid laners are, there is still some flex potential if Gen G want to get feisty with it.
I think that it's not because BDD isn't a Renekton player. It's because...
That's Rascal.
It's because it's Rascal, right?
Yeah,
and,
no, I get
that. He's like, no, this is my champion. I must play it.
But what I wonder is whether Nongshim also thinks that. Because if you don't ban things like the Wukong here, and then you run the risk of getting that picked into, like, is that going to work out?
True.
Yes or no? Do you take that risk? Because I think we've often seen teams kind of err on the side of caution, which I think is fine, as that is a trademark Clid pick banned away. No shockers there. And this is something where I think Gen G are running into some of the...
This is kind of cute. I like it.
Yeah, that's really good. We saw that combo
Yep.
more and more, and it is pretty insane.
Also, Gori has played the Arcewo before.
I remember that play.
He was in the backpack that game just a little bit, as I think it was like was it 1, 2, and 7 performance or something like that?
He just pressed O, and he made that one play
that one
got him
sick
POG.
play, which got him POG for it for some reason.
I think it was okay.
No, it was fine. It was fine.
There was like a really weird game where not a lot happened, and then Nongshim just won. So it's one of those games.
Which is a lot of Nongshim games.
Yeah, they just win.
It was definitely their series against DRX, which was very even until it was definitely not even.
Yes.
Sort of how it went, as LeBlanc is going to be taken away here.
And this is I think, as you pointed out, a safe read from Nongshim that the Renekton is definitely going to go to Rascal. And this Ezreal for Ruler is, to me, a sign as I really like the Bromman. Works really, really well with everything that you already have. Gives you a lot more survivability. This would be very in line. I wonder what they're going to play here. Because the Xin is obviously, in terms of dueling potential, is amazing. And then you probably pick Orianna for BDD. And then you have a Colt that can skirmish, that can team fight, that scales well, but also has some early game power spikes. So I quite like that. Yeah, also, I think picking Syndra into Braum feels really bad.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. I think that the Orianna doesn't feel nearly as painful. If you want more prio and you want more power in your draft, I think the Syndra is fine. Of course, Syndra Renekton, Syndra Xin is a possibility, but that does come with the caveat that Kalin can make your life very unpleasant. But they will go for additional pressure, which, considering Gen G's current state, I think going hard on that and just having the Ruler win condition, it's classic Gen G.
I love this. What can we do to outrange Syndra?
Do it.
Xerath.
No.
Oh my goodness, how did Lucian last all this time? Okay, well that's the perfect option here. As Syndra can have an okay lane into the Lucian. However, the lanes now look absolutely beautiful here for Nongshim as far as getting exactly the right damage and things like this. Once you have Moonfall, Diana can help lock them in place, Gori can blow them up. Same can be said for Jace as well, up there towards the top side. And this is a lot of priority potentially for Nongshim in their lanes. that Peanut will be able to utilize in order to get himself to that level 6 as quickly as possible.
The key thing here is that while I do think that it provides Peanut with some safety, the 2v2s are so favored towards Gen G. I think the first 6 levels is when they need to make their mark. They need to find a way, either pick up kills, punish overextensions, because Zinzao Renekton, disgusting. Syndra, Zinzao, disgusting. Try to find topside 3v3s. Try to, if you can early on, get life out of that lane. If you don't get anything done early as a Gen G, you can always win based on Ruler, but we've seen that is not a very good proposition right now. And also something that I think works against a lot of teams, but not against teams like Nongshim that have the decisiveness to just call you out on trying to play that passively, and will just start up a Baron and continuously try to test you and skill check you, and then one of them you're going to fail based on what we've seen thus far. So early game going to be pivotal here. And yes, I think that normally I like the Jace into the Renekton, but looking at the nameplates, I think we can see some fireworks up in topside.
I absolutely agree. If Rich wanted to get any champion, it is 100% the Jace. So I'm expecting certainly a really good time for both of these top laners, actually. Like, this is the thing that's really difficult, is that Renekton in the hands of Rascal is a completely different champion. He is so aggressive, knows his limits so beautifully as, okay, he might have some extra limits this game.
Oh god, they're going to kill Rascal.
Well, they're looking for it. They may actually get his flash potentially. Yeah, Callan's going to get the wrap around. There's the slice and dice that he will take level 1. So that's why you don't skill things up.
I got baited, as did Nongshim possibly.
Oh. No ward, of course, so he is going to be able to get the back off.
If only Callan went Halo Blades.
That's how they would have done it.
That's enough. No, there's no Rascal there, as you point out. Holding on as long as possible. So slice and dice. It's not the end of the world. There's a bunch of first skills that can feel really, really bad.
Yeah, that's not exactly the worst. In fact, Faker actually took Slice and Dice level 1.
Yeah, into a range matchup as well. I think it still provides you with some value. As expected, a ton of Conqueror on the top side of the map. BDD also going for the Electrocute. And you need to in this matchup, right? And you see Gory also trying to go as poke heavy as he possibly can. Because this is not the type of matchup where you want to reliably proc your PDA, because that generally puts you in a position to get scattered, which kills you fairly consistently. But it's going to be perfect towards topside, which I think is a great call. If Rascal somehow can take early control of the lane here, stack up a big wave, and they can dive Rich early, that's going to be great as wow.
This is not a good matchup for the Syndra that we've seen historically.
That's insane.
That's a good scatter, as Gory's going to get electrocuted as well, but level 2 will help out his health bar just a little bit. A lot of this was Showmaker picking a lot of Lucian into as Gory is just going to dash over the orb, which is one of the reasons why Lucian is definitely very strong in this matchup.
Also, I think a lot of those will have been played during the time when Syndra was still nerfed. Nerfs were relevant, but there's still some teams that were like, yeah, we can try it for a little bit longer. As Yaklid, level 3.
Yeah,
let's do it.
We're talking about. That's a good stun onto Gory, who will have his dash available as Peanut in position for the counter. As BDD is going to utilize the extra time. In fact, Force of Will as well. Make sure that he gets that minion. Another dash in from Gory. I like the amount of pressure that he does have. Piercing Light also doing a lot of damage there to potentially BDD, but he is able to outrange it. Is Piercing Light a skill shot?
It can be. You can miss it.
Yeah. So is it a skill shot? Or do you have to, like, does it have to be ground targeting for it to be a skill shot?
I think so. Yeah, that will be how I feel about it.
But if you can miss, then don't you need skill in order to land it?
I'm gonna need a moment.
Yeah.
To give that some thought, because it is a very interesting discussion on what constitutes skill.
Yeah.
Is it just the ground that makes it skillful? I don't think that's the case.
I have absolutely no idea.
So I know. I mean, we're the masters of our own universe, right? We can decide
that is
ourselves.
True.
I've
decided it's a skill shot.
Yeah. No. I was leaning towards the same direction.
Well, maybe it's a targeted. Maybe it's a unit targeted skill shot.
Yeah, but then you're getting into territory where you need to start and define more skill shots. Yeah. I don't think that's a can of worms that you want to open.
As as Rascal going to get a decent stun onto Rich, but the To The Skies actually mitigates a lot of that stun timing as Peanut looking to come in here. Spotted here by Rascal. As the Shock Blast is going to connect, let's see whether Nongshim can get at least the flash out, and they do. Nongshim will now have a lot of pushing power as BDD here with control of the wave is going to push Gori out for the moment, and Clid is going to counter jungle here on the bottom side of the map.
And this is also in part due to the priority that was available for Douglas and Callan, who picked themselves up while we were...
I love that.
Good. Very nice prediction. While we were having a very fruitful discussion on the definition of skill shots, Dr. Callan got prio early on, as you are expected, of course, in this matchup. Fairly lopsided in that regard. Not a lot to be done for the Azra and Leona. And then took a scuttle. So, as that, yeah, that's Rascal's Renekton.
Yeah, he's pretty good at Renekton, guys. That's what we're going to say. This is something that has plagued many an analyst of the LCK, yourself and Wolf Chronicler included, as far as the absurd amount of priority that all teams have on Renekton. The problem is, when Rascal picks it, he just tends to win.
Yeah,
so you can say that picking Renekton's bad, but you know,
results-based
analysis says that actually it's good.
I was never on the Renekton hate train, and I also feel like as no, that's a nice sidestep. Oh, Crocodile.
That was close. As that almost hooked onto an orb. As the Pale Cascade from Peanut comes on in there. There's the flash forward. That's a really, really dead Lucian. As Rascal comes through, grabs himself a first blood. And what were we saying about the Renekton again? Ooh, yeah. This is going to be even harder for Rich.
I was, as I was saying, and I don't even think this particular instance is an example, although, of course, Rascal. And this is played out really well, and this is also something that I think Rascal does a lot better, even though it does kind of revert Gen G back to old Gen G, than a player like Brodo, whose laning presence and teamfights were great, but this kind of map play, oh my god. Oh, that feels bad, man. Yeah. Oh, the ward. Yeah, that is a very, very damaging false sense of security. As Rascal was subbed out for a bit, then he came back, and what was it, like 8-3-2 Viego game?
Yeah, no, he's been in the hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. Because after he did get subbed back in again, he certainly looked like a changed man. And we saw just how happy he was sitting on the desk earlier on, right?
Very aggressively. Which I think is good. Clear sign that they're feeling. And as Gen G, know that if you win this first game, you are only a single win away from locking your bye. And we can't, like, especially with the changing forms, I would not be shocked if whichever team's face your free could just get like randomly 3-0 swept, and then a freak guy like never win a game up, because you don't know, right? Yeah. Like every single team in the top, again, barring maybe Dumbledore and even dead bot lane remains a question mark at times. Like there's so much variety in how they play, both good and bad. So I think if you can skip matches, you take it.
Oh, it's absolutely huge. There's absolutely no doubt about it. As Gen G, of course, they have a swing based on how many games they can win here. They have a swing between 6th and 2nd. We have to remind you, every single win counts, because as soon as they win one game, then they're definitely not 6th.
Yes.
Right? They win another game, they're definitely not, well, actually, they're definitely 2nd if they win 2 in a row. However, if they win 2-1, then, you know, you're fighting for 4th. Which is fantastic. You know, you're actually going to be able to get side selection against your opponent.
What Rascal is doing? He's practicing the dark arts.
Oh my goodness.
He's freezing.
Did it get cold up there?
It's chilly.
I thought the Freljord champion was on the Nongshim side.
I don't know if that's good for Rascal, because he's a crocodile. I don't think they do very well in cold climates.
Yeah, that is actually a very good point.
Yeah.
You know, native to Australia.
Yeah, marsh,
Egypt.
land.
You know, Egypt not necessarily known for being
cold. Oh, Rudy P.
Yeah, well, Rascal, let's see whether he's actually going to pop the Dominus here, as Rich actually trading quite well. Like you were saying, Ruler is going to teleport in here. Nongshim. I've got Shelly down to half health as Clid is going to pick it up. Say thanks for the leash for the moment. Q going to miss from Peanut. Scatter the Weak now on cooldown. This could be a big deal. There's all 5 members here for Nongshim as Life looking for the wrap around. Chains of Corruption come through as Life gets right into the front line. I mean, Peanut tried to do it, but it just did not work. The Moonfall just does nothing right now as the culling comes on through. And it is going to be the Herald picked up by Ruler of all people. And I absolutely know why, because he's taken that to the bottom lane and he's taken all of that money.
I'm taking the plates as another kill also goes over to Rascal. And this is kind of the problem. I feel sometimes like Gen G is like Texas. You may not like it, but it's also inevitable, right? It's like, of course they first
Oh, I
pick
thought you said
Renekton on
Texas.
No.
I'm like, why is Texas
No,
inevitable?
as in like...
And also, what do you have against Texas?
I don't have anything. I'm talking about taxes and like you have
Texas.
to pay to the
No,
state.
I get it.
It's an important distinction.
I just paid some taxes today, actually. I should have been ready.
Like a
I'm
good
sorry
citizen.
to all of those Texans as well for even assuming that I might say that. Of course, one of my closest friends is from Texas, and that's very rude of me. As we're going to check out this replay, which is going to save me from that.
It's just pretty nicely set up. The amount of AoE damage between Life finding a clean engage, Clit diving in, hitting some damage, and then Rascal with Dominus and an empowered Kuldamik says goodbye to a sizable portion of Nongshim. And it also shows us that, yes, Nongshim's comp is good, but if you actually do get on top of them, they're in deep trouble. Peanut's counter-engage, of course, is incredible, and that's why you saw that Gen G was also fairly spread out, making sure Ruler was basically in the pit, that there was no opportunity, which we've seen Diana do so many times, because a single Moonfall with an arrow, a shock blast, or a culling can just immediately win you the game, right? Like, if you lose that fight as Gen G, which they have a lot of times in recent matches, then it can all go sideways very quickly, but instead, Ruler sitting on a Rift Herald.
Yeah.
Rascal has a huge lead, and knowing Rascal, I don't know when, but he's gonna solo kill Rich at some point.
And you can see that he's like getting ready for it as well, because he's playing so meekly towards the top side. He's like, oh no,
scary.
I don't want.
would
I'm
never.
going to give up this CS because you're so frightening, and then roar, and he kills you.
There is a Peanut though.
Yeah, so this is not the time.
But I think Rascal knows.
Yeah, Rascal is playing some serious weak side Renekton right now, giving so much respect over to Rich, and I respect that. As Gen G have taken themselves a 1,000 gold lead, that should extend ever further, given the fact that they do have the Rift Heralds to be utilized there towards the bottom side. And Ruler is now on his own. You can see Life able to get in here and spot things out, and the more vision they have on a Diana's jungle, the slower she's going to get to critical mass, the better news it is for Gen G. As that's a second plate for BDD, who's just leaning beautifully on their Syndra right now.
And it's showing us why Gen G put such importance, right, on these picks. It's because they have such an amount of power and their players are so comfortable on them. And when it doesn't work, it is something that can easily backfire. When it does work, like in this situation, at least for now, all the criticism kind of fall by the wayside. And yes, in a best-of series, you need more strategies. But if they broke, why fix it? And in this case, Gen G, it's all comfort, but it's still looking great.
Yeah.
They pick themselves up a Drake. They still have the Rift Herald, which I think they're going to throw down here on mid lane, because that is very low. Possible dive is an option as well.
Feeling imminent. True Shot Barrage is going to tag both of them as Clid's going to come round. There's the teleport out from Rich. And Shelly is going to come through here as Ruler going to get a couple of plates, and they're going to use Shelly to take down the turret completely. Oh man, that is a lot of extra money going over to Gen G, and this snowball is really rolling faster and faster in this early game. Moving towards mid, and we've got a Divine Sundra ready for Ruler. He is getting closer and closer to online, and it is scary territory. Doctor once again going to go for the Prowler's Claw. We've seen quite a few different options as Rascal going to dive in. There's the Dominus onto Rich, as the Q is good as well, and Rascal's just trying to block him. Can Rich do anything about this? And the answer is yes. As Rascal taking that turret shot was a little bit dangerous, but now going to try and zone him away from this turret. And Rascal just, he's so menacing on this Renekton.
It's terrifying. I'm scared. I don't know how much gold he's sitting on right now, but I'm also...
Whoa!
Oh, nice flash.
Yeah, you'll dash out of that and feel pretty happy about it, as life feels a little silly.
Doesn't actually amount to anything, but does strike fear into the heart of your enemies. And that's something that life
Sometimes you have to press F in order to instill fear. You're exactly right.
He doesn't even have Hex Flash, so it's not that great. I mean, it's generally...
I mean, trading Flash for Relentless Pursuit.
Yeah, it's not worth
it. Never put
Oh.
Colin is okay. Rascal's in trouble now as Rich going to get sliced, diced, and then gets himself an assist.
Nice play there. Knowing Rascal's tendencies for trying and look for solo kills, Peanut says, yes, I'll take that, thank you very much. Easy pickup, and feeding the Diana is really big, considering she's the sole source of AP damage. There's going to be double lethality, and Gory is going for a more crit-heavy build, even with the Aerie, which I think is the right call, considering the fact that I am expecting a fair amount of armor stacking on Gen G, considering the damage profile that they're up against. So if Peanut also falls behind or isn't able to really get going, then it is a very tough situation later in the game. Instead now, Peanut with a little bit more power is going to help out a lot.
That's a teleport, as Rich does have Flash, might have to use it, but Rule is just looking for that kill. Flash does come through, True Shot Barrage going to be avoided, as Rich going to be able to get behind his minions, and Ruler's not going to be able to get it even with his Flash. Not a good look.
Unfortunate. I welcome the Flash forward though. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen those from Ruler.
Yeah, it's true.
And it ties into what we're seeing with Life here as well. That obviously these mis-executions might come back to bite you. But it is still a look that we haven't seen in a while from Gen G, who have looked very disillusioned and overall weak. Now it's up to Nongshim to show that they can use it, and this is something that I want to go into a little bit now that we have a lack of action for presumably the next minute until the Drake comes around. It's exactly these type of windows that Nongshim is, I think, the best within the LCK at finding and then abusing, right? Because where Damwon sometimes feel like they just straight up outplay you, like they just skill check you and you lose, and there's nothing for you to be, there's nothing to be done, right? Like Showmaker or Canyon just makes a play, you're sitting there, what just happened to me?
Yeah.
Nongshim, they are much more about finding specific windows and then all in committing on them with the entire team. And like flashes, being down on Ruler, Life going for a play like that. Exactly the type of stuff that can backfire.
Not a lot actually landing, as we just saw there towards the top side. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that we're getting towards the Nongshim window, which is a little bit frightening. As we're going to check this one out. This is from a long time ago. As Peanut picks up his first kill of the game.
아, 탈박했다. 아래로 무빙. 다 예상이 됩니다. 이제 노플 로테.
I predicted it all.
I predicted it all.
Oh, good for you, Rich.
Yep, nicely done, Rich. And look, 0-0-1, even
perfect.
on farm, like you're psyched as the Jace.
Specifically Rich as Jace, right? Because we know what this man does in team fights, and this is where Nongshim should be relatively strong, even with this deficit. A little early on some of the spikes, don't quite have the second one on Dogdom or Rich yet, and that's really when I think that this poke becomes an incredible nuisance. Do need to be respectful, can't get engaged on.
Yeah, Clid's going to take a bit of damage there. So I think some of these shock blasts are going to be the most important thing to look out for, as Ruler's just shoving. And looks like this Drake is just going to go over for free to Nongshim, as it is going to be a Cloud Soul. Feeling happy, personally, as Gen G going to look to try and get themselves an inner turret here as well, as BDD looking for Peanut, but Nongshim are here. There's the culling, going to be cancelled immediately after the flash from BDD, but in the meantime, Gen G will just group up, take this inner turret, and now they are potentially in position. Crescent Guard, not exactly the target that Nongshim were looking for there, as Clid was the one that got snared, and he will be able to get himself out of there. So, Nongshim now going to try and trade turrets, but this one's very, very healthy. Gen G looking to try and get into position. Life, who's down here? Ruler's going to be able to pick up the farm quite nicely.
I think this is fine. It's only a first turret for Nongshim. If it was, you know, like a soul point kind of situation, then I don't think getting the inner is really worth it. But extending, or rather attempting to extend your item leads, is a-okay. And again, going back to some of the more split-second calls that have been very lackluster from Gen G recently. Life also picking up the Anathemas, which I assume you're going to throw down on Peanut, just based on the type of damage that is available. And as Gen G, I get it. If you hit your second item on specifically, I think, Rascal and Ruler, that's when you feel ready to fight. Because Kled is a while off, and with Crescent as guard, he'll have a lot of defensive stats anyway, or rather defensive capabilities. BDD is a little bit further off, but transforming that tier into a Muramane and getting a Sterix is, I think, when Gen G should really go hard. That's when you want to try and force Barons, make them run into you, right? And that's kind of hard because the poke is so good. So then you need to actually hit your engage, which thus far, first one worked out. Everything after that, not so much.
Yeah, actually, I quite like Gen G if they do get some control, though, and you can see at the moment,
oh yeah,
they do have some forward vision, and BDD is exactly why I'm saying this. Scout of the Weeks can just be so pivotal, especially with the amount of follow-up that there is. Gen G's all-in is so frightening, as yeah, even Ruler is making his way down. Peanut and Rich underneath this turret now, as Gori is splitting on the top side. Teleport in hand, but Docked Arms all the way back in base. Still, not going to be the overcommitment here for Gen G, as BDD is going to go back home, collect himself a minion wave. As Gori, he's moving back. You can see that control ward to the north. A possibility here is True Shot Barrage will scope out the Lucian, and there's the teleport immediately. As Ruler almost with his backup as well, as now Rascal looks for the stun, but actually doesn't need to use it just yet. There's the slice, but doesn't have the dice. There's the culling, and BDD will say goodbye. Klid going to pick up that kill. Gori, not a lot of options in that scenario.
Nicely done. Well played by Gen G. Using the teleport for a kill can be worth it, as it does get Rascal closer towards that crucial second item spike. Ruler now also ready to fight.
Oh, yeah.
He's reached a 2-item breakpoint. That is an incredibly important one. Personally, wouldn't have minded for him to go for the Triforce build. I think that into a team with less tankiness, the only real tankiness is a Braum who isn't really going to care about your Divine Sunderer.
Yeah.
Provides you with a lot more consistent DPS. This, of course, makes you a little bit tankier, so it does have its upsides as well. And this is where, as you pointed out, you make sure that Nongshim don't have a great way to poke you. If you have full control of the vision, then all the poke is going to be a lot easier to dodge. And it also means that as Nongshim, you're going to have to face check, which they don't really love. Braum can do it, but it's still something that you're going to feel a little scared about, unless you also have Peanut on the back foot. And while we talked about the item spikes for Gen G already, for Nongshim it's also not looking too shabby. Rich not going to be able to actually stack up as Muramane before this Cloud Soul goes. So I expect Nongshim to do the same that Gen G did last Drake and just be like, nah, we're sitting pretty like 3 items on our team, really. We can just give this one up. It's a second Drake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't need to worry about it. Going to be that singular Cloud, which not going to be too bad for a champion like Syndra, who likes pressing her gameplay button as often as possible. Ruler as well on his Ezreal. Any ability that you can just throw out if in range, certainly a good idea. There's a bit of a return to base here for Ruler. See what he can collect. He is heading towards that first part, as Rascal is going to get tagged, but no vision here in this brush. Nongshim really wanting to wrestle control is now Rich. Trying to get onto Rascal. He's going to use that Q, get himself healthy once more, and had the quick as well, so he'll be absolutely fine. Gen G in the meantime looking to push out the mid lane, as we see so often.
That's a nice bluff from Rich, because if Rascal actually answers that all-in, you might be in deep trouble.
Well, a lot of vision here coming down as Gen G looking for their window. Some orbs on the ground, which is scary. Peanut going to lock down the Drake. It's only the second, not a huge deal, but now potential fight as Rascal already below half health. Here's the dive from Gen G. The door is fantastic, blocking the True Shot Barrage as the culling goes entirely wide. As now Rich trying to get over the wall, but it's not going to work. Peanut's already dead, and now Nongshim are completely scattered, but Gen G are just going to group themselves up and head straight towards the Baron. Peanut's still dead for another 30 seconds. This could be just a free Baron for Gen G.
Double teleport is available, and the poke from Nongshim is terrifying. Gen G's damage on the Baron is okay, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Teleport coming through from Rich here as well.
Yeah, Gori going to be standing on a ward here, as you can see. Life just trying to play goalie. See what he can actually stop, as I expect Gen G to try and do a bit of a turn here, but they've got the Baron down very low.
have Smite.
Let's see whether they commit to it as Nongshim looking to try and come on through. That is going to be the Smite used by Clit as in goes live. I don't know whether an engage is exactly what they want as Kellen takes a lot of damage despite the door, but it is going to be life, just sacrificing himself for the good of the Baron.
And I can respect that call. I think if a Corrupting Arrow hits and everyone gets wiped with the health bars that low, it's done, right? You lose the advantage, full control over to the map to Nongshim, and this is such a messy fight. Corrupting Arrow doesn't actually hit anyone. The calling gets sighted really nicely, and it's Ruler and BDD basically playing prison guard while the rest of Nongshim is trying to get into the pit because they want to help out Peanut, who was stuck there, but it was just Kellen who was available here to help him. And yeah, with Clit and Rascal being as low as they are, I think I don't mind the call here. I think you never intend to actually fight here because you have Baron. Why would you? But if life doesn't go in there and a Corrupting Arrow spreads or somehow another engage is found, you're in deep, deep trouble. So now Gen G, our team with the best average Baron power play in the entire LCK. They don't get Barons that often, but when they do, it's amazing how much they can get with it.
Well, right now, they're going to be able to grab this outer turret on the bottom side of the map. That is going to extend to approximately a 2,000 Baron power play. I told line, 1.5. But this inner turret will certainly help out.
Peanut.
Yeah, looking for a possible flank play. He has his Zhonya's now complete, going to be much more durable in these instances. It's okay, there's a bit of a face check, but Peanut now surrounded by 3 people. Does use the Zhonya's, but immediately the knockup from Clit. Love that. The audacious charge will finish off the Diana, and unfortunately for Nongshim, this push will continue. Scatter the weak from BDD. He is playing so far up. And of course, why wouldn't you, as he has his Zhonya's of his own. So he's able to play with a little bit more reckless abandon, considering the fact that Gen G can follow up so beautifully. And now they're looking to break open the base. 4.3 thousand gold Baron power play. And Noctum limping away once again. Is now Rascal sidestepping some Winter's Bites. And Gen G really looking good. That's a 7,000 gold lead now.
And that is one that you can count upon. Although if you're Gen G, you've been hurt before. You don't want to abandon your more, I say, as Rascal. It's like, is he really going to do it? Yeah. But he's not, fortunately. Yeah, and what I really like here is that Gen G are very well aware of this is exactly the type of situation where Nongshim can turn again. Right, they've done it so many times in the past, there's a lack of vision, and Clit and Life just go and scope it out together. Peanut unfortunately does get caught, and without Peanut available and the rest of your team on the back foot, your actual engage is non-existent, right? You don't have a way to get on top and try and help him.
Oh, Peanut's going to be spotted. Oh, that Wind Becomes Lightning was very close. Not actually going to connect as Gen G with 3 seconds left on this Baron, so not really going to be able to utilize it all that well. 1 minute until the next Drake is available. And look at that gold graph. That's that Baron power play that you were talking about there, Chronicle.
That's a curve.
Yeah,
and now Ruler, 3 items, has the Frozen Heart and well, and against this Nongshim comp, it's just so good. Right, there's triple AD, Peanut. Yes, he's dangerous, but as an Ezreal, it's one of the very few AD carries that can really mitigate the threat that a Diana has a lot more reliably.
Yep. Also, the stopwatch that he has as well is very good at avoiding Moonfall damage.
He knows. He's ready.
Oh, yeah.
And this is... It's been a while, you know. Earlier tonight we saw good old Hanwha Life, who had taken a short break and after a summer off came back to us.
Yes.
This is looking like the most Gen G game I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
It's just
slow and steady suffocation Gen G that we got used to in the first round, Chronicler.
They were there.
And then they took a bit of a holiday, and now they're back when they need to be. And the beauty is, it's all in their own hands. They can get themselves to a round 2 bye by just winning 2-0.
I wonder what would be more Gen G is to, out of nowhere, because as we said at the top of the day, Nongshim, the favorites in this match. Gen G have looked very lackluster recently. And sure, Nongshim lost to a freak out, but there's still a reason why they're currently a #1 team, right? Why they've been so good and why they've been so consistent, able to string together so many wins. Or to get up, win this game, and then get up to like a 10k gold lead, and then drop it in the second game.
Yeah, and then lose the series.
Yeah.
I think if you were to ask Reddit, that's exactly the outcome they would have predicted.
I mean, it's one of the two, because they can also just randomly stomp Nongshim 2-0. Like, that is also...
Yeah. It depends. It depends entirely based on the sentiment of people at the time.
Yeah.
If people think that Gen G are really, really strong, then it's likely that we're going to see the 1-2 situation. However, if people are a little bit down on Gen G, that's when they're like, no, we're super good. And then they get the 2-0.
And then they are actually super good.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know. This is the thing. They're impossible to predict. As as a bit of an example, ladies and gentlemen, all of us here in the LCK predicted that Nongshim would win this series. I believe it was 2-1 for everyone.
Correct.
But now, I'm starting to think that maybe we're wrong. As Rich, not going to get stunned up just yet. It's Clid looking for his opportunity. Kellen likely to go down, but does have a stopwatch. Life tries to flash away, but isn't going to be able to. As Ruler locks down that first kill. The scatter onto 2 is beautiful, but Peanut has the Zhonya's. Sorry, going to throw out the ultimate, but it doesn't do too much. Moonfall also afterwards. Peanut flashes, and is going to be able to get out to relative safety. It's a 1-for-1 in the end. Both of the supports going down, but Gen G now with the closer proximity to the Baron. Going to move on over.
Perfect timing. It spawns now.
Yeah.
And you didn't kill Peanut, because that would have made it even more free, but there's also no vision, and Peanut still has the base, and walk all the way back. Teleport comes through. They don't know where Peanut is. I think they can still get it. Can they get out?
Yeah. Control vision here in this pit, but they're not going to be able to stop this Baron as Rich looking to try and close in. This Shock Blast is going to be important, but no. They just decide to back away. Gen G now with an 8,000 gold lead and the Baron rotating around them. Let's have a look at this one more time as Nongshim was setting up in the Fnatic Rush.
And if you hit that route, this play isn't even close. Rich just immediately dies. Life not having the greatest game on his Leona. But then the combination of, and then BDD, who is just, no, I'm going to flash. And I think BDD, if you look at his KDA, his impact in this match doesn't seem that threatening. But his Syndra has just been such a force of nature, like every single of these.
He's been BDD's Syndra. This is exactly what we've gotten used to from BDD, and that's why a lot of people I think have been somewhat disappointed with some of BDD's performances, because we know what his ceiling looks like, and it's extraordinarily high.
It just, it feels to me very similar to how Showmaker Syndra feels. It feels like there's just no counterplay. Like if you try to walk up, you get scattered. If you don't walk up, you get scattered. If you try and all in, then you get R button, then you lose.
That's a very confused Brambleback that we just saw there as Gen G now going to close in on this top side of the map. Inhibitor has respawned bottom side, but this Inhibitor turret not long for the world. Now Gen G grouped up as 4. We do have Clid in the mid lane, and Nongshim thinking about this as their opportunity. Chains of Corruption will connect. There's now Life looking to try and turn it around. Clid not going to find the Wind Becomes Lightning, but Gen G are going to get inside track on this Inhibitor pretty comfortably. Like, even if no fight occurs, Gen G still win, right? Because they're in your base, destroying your stuff. Nongshim, okay, looking for the ultimate from Kellen, and they are going to be able to find Life. But Gen G still pushing forward. Glacial Fissure is what I was looking for. Can't believe I completely forgot. It's somewhat baffling. This Gen G. I mean, we hadn't seen a lot of this kind of performance from this team since round 1. We knew that they were capable of it, especially against Nongshim. It was something that we really did not have an opportunity to revisit.
It's a good time to start peaking.
Yeah.
Literally,
unless you're on Life Esports, in which case it would have been a little bit earlier.
Yes, they were too late. Yeah. Still better late than never. I think they still have the theoretical World's Gauntlet that they might get into. But that's not in their own hands, that's in the hand of some of the other teams. But in case of Gen G, thanks to that loss, they are 100% in control. This is their dream scenario, you know? Humble Life had your back, now you just gotta deliver on it yourself. And I think in this game specifically, you should be fine. I think you can set up for any fight, take it, and with the gold lead that you have, you should be okay, because this Nongshim composition when playing from behind suddenly becomes very reliant on overextending into repeated poke, or as we saw there, just getting hit by, in that case, it was Callan, but a Chains of Corruption will do it, Peanut going in. Shouldn't be the case, though.
They do get the door out of Callan. Now Gen G continuing to try and push this one forward, but without a Baron, it is more difficult. Certainly enough wave clear available for Nongshim. Line wave clear, especially with the piercing arrow. But Gen G just going to move back, grab themselves soul point. probably look to set up around the Baron after that, as it is going to be 2.5 minutes, but as you can see, Nongshim have been able to get in there and get a fair bit of vision around the area. You can imagine that sweeping that out is going to be the next port of call here for Gen G, as that inhibitor being down on the top side of the map will help them in that regard as well. You can see this bit of a split happening here as Rascal's on the bottom side, doesn't have his teleport, potential avenue for Nongshim, but Rascal's still pretty close, and look at that, Shock Blast just do nothing to this Thornmail Crocodile.
And I want to point out again why Gen G is playing this way slow, because we've seen Gen G close out these games in seconds, right? Once they get leads this big. This is literally so big as they go in.
Big old flash forward from Clid. Does throw down the ultimate as they break open the base in all 3 lanes. Now just looking to back away by the looks of things. Yep, they got what they wanted. There's the culling. Rascal just moves on forward and blocks it. Double stopwatches come on through as Peanut does have to flash away, but Clid is still going to die. Gen G answer back. They're just not going to, as now Nongshim piling on forward. The flash out from PDD, but it does absolutely nothing. And Gen G, where was the response? It just wasn't there.
And that was such a beautiful turnaround from Nongshim, and I haven't finished yet. I'm talking about Gen G. Why they're playing it slow? It's because they don't want this to happen. Exactly this is the risk that you run if you overextend and they throw a lot down. But then Nongshim, they realize that, hey, as long as Callan has his Unbreakable, BDD is not nearly as threatening. And I don't know if that's enough to win you the game. There is still a lot of control. Baron spawns in a minute. I don't know if you're going to get another one of those team fights, Nongshim, but if they do, I know who my POG vote is going to, because take a look at how much damage gets negated here. It is actually insane. The flash forward comes through, so here, no damage, right? Can't actually reach the backline. And this is why the kite back stop. This is what the value of a Surreal Does Grudge really comes to fruition. Clay doesn't have his ultimate. And then, yeah, you stole a little bit of time here. But again, Gory and Doctum are safe. They're fine. They don't care at all. And it's these moments of weakness that have become so synonymous with Nongshim. The moment they see them, they smell them, literally, like everyone just flashes forward. It's like 5 men just go, 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 go. And they all go like one unit. It's beautiful to watch.
They were wounded sharks. And then they smell blood. It's very frightening. It's going to shrink to a 4,000 gold lead here for Gen G. Yeah, you can see that gold gap has really shrunk. It's now Clid going to be able to grab that irremovable vision in the Scuttle Crab as the Baron has just respawned. Gen G still should be in control of this game. However, I'm looking at Peanut and he is 40 CS in the lead, but he's got so many tools available to him. Wanting to complete the Forbidden Book pretty soon. Items coming online, a scary Chronicler.
Yeah, and a lot of the more egregious examples of what Gen G's comp can do is reliant on the big shields, right? That come through from, for example, Asterix. And those are mitigated to such an extent due to the double Serpent's Fang that is available. We see a lot of armor penetration being built as well. Surreal does already being built on Gory. Doctum also going towards that. And as Gen G, you need to get an actually good engage. And it needs to be not on Callan, unless you blow him up and the rest of his team isn't there. It needs to be on the actual backline. Because as long as Callan can just act as an immovable object and Nongshim get off a Shock Blast, an arrow, and a calling, you don't win the fight, right? Like Ruler, yes, he's big. But that doesn't mean a lot if he doesn't have a front line. He needs time.
Yeah. And this is just crazy. I mean, Nongshim have 2 turrets left on the map. Just not a lot that they have available to them. However, they are still positioning well here for this particular battle, potentially. Bit of a K-Ram, but some posturing here from both teams. Now Rascal lying in wait, wanting to try and get in there if he can. Ruler is some poke opportunity as Rich is going to get the flash. BDD searching for the scatter, didn't have flash available, didn't have to use it, so getting the flash out of Rich definitely big, as now he is a potential target for Gen G. These Shock Blasts, they're not landing. We'll see whether the piercing arrows can be a little bit better. It's Peanut on vision right now. BDD getting that sweeper through, knows that there's no vision available, Unbreakable, now on cooldown.
So was
5 seconds on this Cloud Soul. Oh, Kellen, he's going to get locked down, and Ruler trying to chase after him, but he has the Unbreakable once again. It was just Arcane Shift.
Patience.
Tested. Wind becomes lightning onto Gory. He's taking a bit of damage there as well.
Should be Soul. Gen G has the short track. They can just send 1 or 2 people. Callan is backed. If they know, they should pull the trigger now.
Yep, we are going to get the rotation over. You can see Gen G trying to get vision onto the Baron as well, but this should go down very, very quickly. So this will be the Cloud Soul. Peanut spotted on this ward. Gen G know that they haven't started this one off. Chains of Corruption now on cooldown. Sklid walking a little bit faster than they wanted him to. So Cloud Soul given over for free. Nongshim without very much access to the Dragon Pit. Still, I mean, they're not out of it yet, Chronicle. This is the crazy thing about this game.
And we talked about, yeah, Gen G, if you win it 2-0, that's great. You're able to get yourself in second place. But let's not forget, for Nongshim, if you lose this game, you're 1 game away from getting knocked out of the bye.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Nongshim can still drop the 3rd, and that's the big one. Dumbo Kia, they're relaxing, you know, they're sipping their drink.
They're like wondering whether they're going to be first or second. They're like, well, we don't have to play until round 2 of the playoffs. We're fine, but do we get to choose our opponent? Let's find out.
For both these 2 teams, though, it matters so much. For Gen G, just this win isn't enough, and for Nongshim, even a single one here would ensure that you keep that bye.
Yeah. All cleared, lying in wait. Peanut. Slam the Q onto Life, and Life also going to get Piercing Arrowed. Not exactly having the greatest time is the Leona. Rascal looking to pick up this wave that has been stacked on the bottom side of the map, and he will do so. Man, I feel like this K-Ram has lasted for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, it has, yeah. Approximately. Yep. And Baron getting started, I think. Nope, no, never mind.
Well, now it is.
There we go.
As I don't know how many blue trinkets that Gen G have available. Because now they're going to close on in. This is going down extraordinarily fast.
That's it?
Yep, it's just going to be bursted. Yeah, there are 2 blue trinkets there, but it's not going to work out. Unbreakable, not even necessary, as it's a bit wide on the True Shot Barrage. As Peanut getting poked down, over goes Life, looks for Rich, but he has a stopwatch. Can he survive afterwards? It's a question. The answer's going to be no, but now the entire culling eaten by Rascal, cleared in trouble. As the GA is going to go down for both the jungler and the top laner of Gen G, but they haven't lost anyone. And there is now no Rich and no inhibitor turrets at all.
Protect this wave. Need to try and keep it alive as long as you can, but the wave clear is so good from Nongshim, and if you can't keep this wave alive, you're pushing into Baron, so Gen G, they get 1 kill on Rich. That's nice. It's going to take about 30 seconds off of this Baron buff, but Nongshim, they elongate the game, and like the further we get in, the harder it gets for Gen G to actually play this out.
This is absolutely insane. This game is just going forever. Every Baron this game has been uncontested. But Gen G got the first 2, and now Nongshim, they have access to 1. Life's Leona, certainly fantastic here. Rich not with very many options. As both GAs go down, that actually could be very important for the end of this.
And we see there as well is how much tankiness Clan and Rascal provide up until this point in the game, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, right? Because we see the problem with Nongshim is that if even a single one of them stays alive, they have enough damage to just take you down out of nowhere. Whereas for Gen G, at this point in the game, Rascal cleared not have that much damage. Rascal
might just be caught out. He has Flash. He's going to have to use it.
It's big.
Yeah, that is actually huge. Now he can't flash onto any of the carries of Nongshim and get that really important stun.
They're running at your base.
Yeah, you might need to do something about that.
You want to? I'd say you want to respond.
Yeah, I'd say response would be teleport to come through here as Nongshim, they're committing. They're going to be able to take this inhibitor. Dr. Arm going to take half of his health bar there from Ruler. Let's see whether Gen G have a team fight in them. As Peanut going to get stunned, the flank is beautiful from BDD, and he takes out the Diana. She's so important for this team composition as now Gen G looking to close on in. Dr. limping away from this one. Wimping Lightning does not land, but the Mystic shots do, and Gory cannot escape. It's a triple kill from Ruler as BDD dives on top of Rich, and he is not going anywhere. The Shock Blast misses. The Zhonya's has to be used here as the rest of the team comes on through. And BDD is still going to actually flash out of the way of this one. You better be safe than sorry, as Ruler has decided that he's done with this game. And Gen G will finally, at 43 minutes, end game 1.
What a nail biter, Atlas. Whew! And everyone